In the 1926 book, The Mystery of the Cathedrals, Fulcanelli refers to the heat that's necessary to produce a liquefaction of the Philosopher's Stone. He goes on to say that this processing with heat requires a middle course, featuring the alchemical repetition of the importance of the mise. And in order to give an equal heat overall, do not rise or descend too soon to heaven or earth. For in rising too high you will be burnt by heaven, and in descending too low you will be destroyed by earth. But if your course remains set in the middle, the route will be plainer and the way more sure. Alchemists have historically placed a quiet emphasis on the mise. The word mise itself means middle, closely related to the ancient Greek word mesi, meaning waist, the middle of the torso. Several centuries back, Freemasons adopted a not-so-secret hand signal honoring the mise by hiding the hand in the waistcoat at the body's mesi or mise. But regarding music, the word mise means something more precise than just middle. It describes the exact center within a musical interval. Mathematically, the mise as note can also be described as a mean, as it's the average and exact center between two musical frequencies. Francis Bacon, believed to be the driving force behind speculative Freemasonry, hid many esoteric references to the mise as a musical mean in both his own work and several of the Shakespeare plays, including The Tempest and King Lear. The reference to the musical mean in Two Gentlemen of Verona is veiled speech, a cryptic way of expression as Lucetta toys with Julia.
Madam, it is too sharp. You, minion, are too saucy. Nay, now you are too flat, and mar the concord with too harsh a deft hand. There wanteth but a mean to fill your song. The mean is drowned with your unruly bass. Indeed.
This reference to the mean is made on page 22 of the first folio, a reference to the true tritone, the 11th harmonic, and its octave, the 22nd, that also seems to be a focus of the twice 11 brethren, a group Bacon often referenced cryptically. The word mise is related to the ancient Greek word meson, meaning the middle tetrachord in the lesser perfect musical system, and was adopted and adapted by bricklayers to describe their work of stacking stones that are offset at the center. A mason is professionally focused on the stone's mason. Because of this sonic or masonic aspect of the mise, I wonder if Fulcanelli might also be referring to a liquefaction that's produced by a sound, a frequency, a tone. And might such a tone be part of a hidden form of communication that he mentions in the book, a dialect he calls the language of the birds? According to Fulcanelli, there exists a subset of people, the rebels, who are calling for liberty and independence, the outlaws, the tramps, and the wanderers. This group of people are known by their secretive language. The cursed dialect, banned by high society, by the nobility, who are really so little noble. The well-fed and self-satisfied middle class, luxuriating in the ermine of their ignorance and fatuity. It remains the language of a minority of individuals living outside accepted laws, conventions, customs, and etiquette. But secret languages have been used by the controllers as well. I want to focus for a moment on Fulcanelli's mention of the language of cant, which is defined as a language intended to exclude most people, the general public, from understanding it. An exclusive language, as among thieves. Now let's consider the etymology of the word mercantilism, a set of corrupt economic policies I discuss in my book, The Next Octave. Mercantilism derives from the root word mercantile. Though dictionaries don't list this history of the word, I believe the etymology of mercantile is fairly obvious. Mer, pertaining to the sea, and cant, a secretive language of thieves. The maritime law of admiralty, featured in an earlier video linked below in the description. Francis Bacon was certainly an adept in the area of language, communicating in several different cryptic ways. Bacon not only utilized but created ciphers. His biliteral cipher is the basis for binary computer code today. But Bacon also encoded messages through gematria, symbology, geometry, and parabolic poetry. He was surely a master at this language of the birds mentioned by Fulcanelli. And what is the basic phoneme expressed by a bird? A musical tone. Bacon produced much content on the subject of music, both overtly and in code. In his essay on New Atlantis, he hit an important ratio, 51:17, in a metaphorical cipher regarding the ship's crew of 51 men, 17 of whom were sick or not whole. This ratio, when applied to the harmonic series, points directly to the 23rd harmonic, one of 4 harmonics in the complete chromatic scale not recognized as notes. The 23rd harmonic is one of 16 notes in the chromatic scale produced in the harmonic series between harmonics 16 and 32. However, traditional music only recognizes 12 notes in the chromatic scale. The 4 extra notes are shown here, labeled as W, X, Y, and Z. In order to hear these tones, I've scaled up the harmonic frequencies of the C16 scale to a range that's audible. For example, the first C tone is at 512 Hz, but it correlates here to the 16th harmonic. To gain a sense of this 16-note chromatic scale, please listen for yourself. This is just one of many secrets that Bacon quietly revealed in cryptic language. Another focus in Bacon's work is on the concept of Solomon. Solomon's house is central to his story of New Atlantis. So it's not surprising when Fulcanelli reminds us that the Freemasons were the architects of the Temple of Solomon, both a loci and a concept that manifests in many ways, including the musical note of G. The note of G enters the harmonic series as the 3rd harmonic, but the G note in the chromatic scale, between harmonics 16 and 32, is the 24th harmonic, corresponding to 24 Hz. This G, at 24 Hz, is the 3rd octave of the 3rd harmonic. Various discrete mathematical values of G bring us back to the system of 3, 6, 9. The power of 3 set, as always, against the power of 2. In his book, Fulcanelli discusses the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. This bas relief in the cathedral's central porch depicts alchemy as a woman representing matter and the power of 2. Before her sits a ladder with 9 rungs representing the 9 operations of the Hermetic labor. But the number 9 is not matter-based, nor is it part of the power of 2. It sits on top of the Mobius circuit's representation of matter and energy, expressing the power of 3. There are only 3 musical notes that are based on the power of 3, G, D, and A. When they're joined together with the matter-based number 1, the tonic C note of the harmonic series, the 4 notes complete Cantor's lambda of 1, 3, 9, and 27. This is the same order that the notes are produced off the tonic of C when stacking fifths. As we can see, the G is the first stacked fifth in the harmonic series, a fifth above the tonic of C, and the Mi's frequency between any octave or doubling of C. So when we stack fifths, we're actually stacking the Mi's. So what does all this have to do with liquefaction? This experiment with water and frequency was posted on the BrusPup YouTube channel using the low frequency of 24 Hz, the 3rd octave of the 3rd harmonic, or the G note. The shape of this flowing water resembles a zigzag or maybe stair steps. But I see successive water flows outward that are being pulled back by the power of the Mi's, perhaps at a right angle. A succession of curving outward expansions being pulled back into line. 24 Hz is a very low frequency and usually outside of our audible range, but it's easier to perceive when using a sawtooth wave. And so we're left to wonder what this very low frequency of 24 Hz, the 3rd octave of G in the harmonic series, might be capable of in the right hands or in the wrong hands. If the Mi's can bend the flow of water at low amplification, how might this frequency of G affect matter if it were intoned at a much higher and more powerful amplification? I'm grateful for any feedback. Please leave your thoughts in the comments, and thank you for watching.